Alrighty there, Amons. How you doing? How's your
Um,
team looking right now?
it's looking pretty good. We've gone for a mainly left-sided push on my side, so White Eagles are going to be pushing the side with the lower walls and uh, leaving the other side essentially bare.
All right, so it looks like the Colemnagaming looks like they're gonna kind of like hole up inside their base a little bit. Not a bad decision, just simply they can utilize their archers very well in that sense. However, it's also going to it's going to impact those slingers if they go for a very defensive inside base protection. Those slingers on White Eagles might have a little bit of trouble unless they use like the cliff sides outside the base.
Yep. So we've basically got Sin and one of the elephants pushing center. Mad PL sending two elephants to cover the side that they can't see well, and that Kalema Gaming have taken. And then a really strong push with Romans and jabs on the side with the low walls.
Sin already dealing massive amounts of damage. Like I said, these tier 8 Carthage, even at fully geared out, these tier 8 Carthage cavalry, they're very low armor, very they take a lot of damage from missile fire. So again, very odd to bring them into the mix, in my honest opinion.
Yep. If you're going to bring them, it seems clear that you need to be able to dodge slinger fire really effectively.
In which case, he's not really doing that by utilizing his, two charges that he has.
Yep. So, a nice little focus fire. I didn't even realize you could do that with slingers. And Manu's replied with a huge barrage, but this is why I don't.
Completely ineffective.
Yeah, Sin could even dodge the last couple of tiny bits of damage he took there, and the Kanane archers are not really. I'm curious what they really intend to do with them with the rest of the battle. They missed the barrage. They're effectively just worse than everything else in the game.
Especially now, like, how long do they have on the barrage? It's what, like about a whole minute and 10 seconds or so. So
Yep.
That's a huge loss already. Not being able to utilize that skill, and it looks like they're White Eagles just going to take their time as they get ready to surround the base.
So as a Kanane player, it's either flat arc barrages or nothing. You just save it for later. I mean, he's got in a little bit harassed, and he'll have it up by the next time when the real engagement starts. But as soon as he gets into flat arcs, Sin's going to destroy him with the slingers. So
Exactly. I mean, very rarely, like, if you do a barrage that is like, a high arc, you want to do it when you somehow are like behind enemy troops that aren't able to, avoid the barrage because they're either engaged or something like that. Otherwise, there's really no point in wasting your barrage. You want, like you said, you want that straight arc.
and one of the elephants on the Colemnagaming side has been completely wasted. They're just sent out, and then the Jazz kited it over caltrops through the forest, and it died without really doing anything. So they're at an elephant disadvantage now.
Which side is that? Is that over by the cavalry fight going on?
Yes, it was quite near it. It's by the ridge side, next to the cavalry.
Wow, very, very poor usage of the Ellies. Honestly, you want to keep them inside the base for when the enemy Ellies push, and you might have the ability to utilize your jabs in that fight.
Yeah, essentially, the elephants, if you do that and you're pushing at the same time, great. You've basically stopped the Jav player from doing damage to your front line and given them some breathing room. But just sending it off by itself, they're not. That's not what elephants are there for.
Exactly. Just sending them out like at that stage, being over by those forests and whatnot is just too much of a danger for an Ellie to just get slowed and charged over and over, deny him and escape, and then like you said, White Eagles, they brought their freaking jabs over, just took them out very easily. Ashier over here on the Colemnagaming, getting harassed by Morhoon. I feel this is a very poor choice of where to be. He's going to be cut off by Ravage. He's got no support nearby, really. He can probably, if White Eagles wanted to, they could have taken him out. However, again, another barrage that's not exactly impactful in this match.
No, at this time the mistake he made is that he blobbed all three archers. You can't ever do that on Kanane, especially when you're barraging. You have to spread out your archers to get those flat arcs. The difference between flat arcs and lobbed arcs is everything as an archer player.
those flat arcs are like pure shots. They're almost impossible to avoid any of the damage.
Yep, and then lob darks are one of the easiest things to dodge in the game, especially if you see them coming.
Indeed. So I feel like we're having a repeat of the last match. The Colemnagaming really don't have a plan here, and they seem very disorganized, and players kind of doing whatever they want, and it's just showing like they have their javelins kind of like over in the base, just running around on one side with no protection whatsoever. Meanwhile, they have other players in the back of the base, and then their archers are on the left side of the base with absolutely no protection. This is very odd. I feel like Colemna really doesn't have any idea what they should do or any organization whatsoever.
Yep, they're just kind of wandering, running around the base, not realizing they're at a point advantage. White Eagles are playing this really smart, by the way. They're sieging the base. Is what going on. They're getting a point advantage. They're not engaging. They don't need to. Just force the other team to come to you, and then pick them apart as they do.
Even so, like they don't even have to do that. They're just sieging very smartly. I mean, they took out an elephant. They got a little bit of damage on Ashier. They're just getting some damage on the jabs with the slingers when they have some vision. They're just each little bit of weakness that they see, they take advantage of, and they're just going for the long siege at this point. At this point.
Yep, and Asher has just lost a level one of his Insubra swordsmen. They're sending out units one by one, and they're getting picked apart. I'm not really sure what the strategy is for them. It seems they have. It's like the French team yesterday. They're at a point advantage, but they're still playing defensively. Disadvantage, sorry.
I solely agree, and I think what the Colemnagaming, they think that they can tempt the White Eagles to come out, get as close to the walls as possible. In which case, Minorco and Manu could be more useful. But the White Eagles, they're a lot better. They have a lot more experience, so they won't fall for these little simple tactics of like, hey, bait me to get closer. So they're just going to take their time, and then just eventually, once they have the numbers, they can easily storm through the base.
Yep. And just let Sin do his damage. I mean, even they don't even need to eventually storm the base if they don't want to. A time victory is a victory all the same. So it's
got Madapple over there already engaged with the Germanicus infantry, putting a little pressure on the middle of the front of the base.
Yep, he's going to trade very effectively with those Germanicus infantry, even if they are in Vengeance, or otherwise he can just bait the Vengeance and run away. Ad Portus has a shorter cooldown.
Which he's doing right now, and he was in a good position. If you look at Sign 1984, he was in a position that if the Javelins were going to pressure that elephant, they were going to deal damage. And so would it be worth the trade? And Minorco clearly did not think it was going to be worth the trade, so he didn't necessarily push towards that Ellie, and he still gets some damage off on Minorco.
Yep, he's just finding any angle he can to get a tiny bit more damage, pick apart the Colemnagaming team a bit more, and then take it. And then right now he's getting shots onto the Kanane archers. That's a huge mistake by Manu.
Very huge mistake, and I mean, Manu's like just using that barrage every opportunity he can, which, I mean, I feel like at this point, you should realize, hey, these guys know what they're doing. They're literally wasting my barrages. You need to wait until there's an engagement happening where you can get full usage of that barrage. Otherwise, they're just wasting your abilities and for minimal damage.
Yeah.
There's their Madapple back in the base again.
The Vengeance is gone. The elephant will just completely destroy that Germanicus unit. In fact, he's just stomping, trading as effectively as possible. He saw Rastafari coming, perhaps. Stomping and then running away. Nothing that the Germanicus can do.
And then Synet still laying it into those javelins. I mean, this is a very carefully approached siege. And in fact, this reminds me back in the Steam days when the players were, the majority of Marina players were prior Total War players. They had played all the other Total Wars, and it was actually some of the more skilled Total War players. The games would be very similar to this, a very methodical siege, little skirmishes all over for the, each team looking for a weakness, except it's clear that White Eagles are definitely the ones that are finding all the weaknesses.
Yep, they've just been probing and probing. Rastafari desperately trying to get an elephant engagement 2v1, but Mad's just not giving it. He's running away, and I think he's turned around and he decided he's going to fight both elephants.
And if you'll look over here on the right flank, Kunai is being chased by Ravage. He's gonna get surrounded and lose that entire hatchable cav unit. Just very odd placements, very odd choice of unit to bring in this composition, especially if you're trying to go for a defensive build. I really don't understand that hatchable sort cav choice.
And finally, a small victory for Colemnagaming. Rastafari has taken down one of Mad PL's elephants and is now pushing those slingers. The go word has been set for Colemnagaming. They're now pushing forward. All of the melee units, the Germanicus and Alakine, are rushing out the base.
So we see that they're doing a very good push on these slingers. However, at the same time, they're going to get collapsed upon by Winged Swordsman. He's coming around the backline. He's going to be chasing those slingers as soon as he can. In which case, now the Jazz are completely ineffective. And on other fronts, the White Eagles are clearly winning their battles, so they can just easily press into the base. And it's just basically another, showing of when you separate your team, especially as like inexperienced players. The more experienced players are going to just whittle you down very quickly.
Yep. Mad PL, I think he's going to trade 2 elephants for free. Oh no, he hasn't turned around the elephant. And Rastafari is just able to get the last hit, but that still leaves White Eagles with the elephant advantage.
And then that Colemnagaming elephant is already so low. Even the slingers could take him out if he really wants to.
And Manu has finally found himself undefended. Ravrage and Winged Swordsman are both going to take him out.
And this is going to be another very clean victory for White Eagles. I mean, again, we could definitely see, we saw in the pregame show, a lot of these players are really new on Colemnagaming. They don't necessarily have very good win rates either. Not trying to knock them. I mean, it's good that they want to get in this environment, and then this will be hopefully a huge learning experience that this is not a joke. This game is, when you have skilled players, it clearly shows. I mean, White Eagles, very, very slow, methodical approach, sieging that base, and it was very easy for them.
Yep, they just they have the superior communication control and shot calling, so they just knew how to pick apart the strategy that Colemnagaming went for, and apparently the Twitch server is down, so we might not be casting to anyone.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be good. I mean, my cast is still live apparently.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's just down for EU players. I don't know.
Apparently, some of the audience says for some it's down, some it's not.
Oh, okay. So some Twitch problems going on. At least it's not our technical issues this time. But
yes.
White Eagles win with a clear majority still left. Good, some still very healthy units, and they